Okay.
First prelims I couldn't clear. Initially, in the initial attempts, first attempt I was a little fearful about interview as well.
Okay.
But in any case, it would be prelims only,
Hmm.
and I was not at all prepared for mains.
Hmm.
And before the prelims result came in, I thought I would almost clear it by. I just lost it by 1 mark or 2 marks there because I did not have any notes. I did not have any clue. So these parts have an overlapping thing both in your prelims and mains. I
Right.
did these subjects first.
Hmm.
Once I studied prelims for them, I tried writing answers for mains. I think every subject has a very different strategy. I believe that first you have to go through each subject, each topic of the subject of mains, simulate your D-Day before itself so that
Right.
you don't panic on that day.
Born and raised in Karnataka, Krupa Jain has consistently demonstrated academic brilliance and professional success. From topping district in class 12 to securing jobs at industry giants like Cisco and Microsoft, professional career was equally impressive. However, her true passion lay in serving the nation, so she decided to appear for UPSC CSE and cleared the exam thrice, including Indian Forest Services with AIR 18 in 2023. Her journey has yet not ended as she strives to work hard to complete her dream for IS. Hello and welcome. This is Pallavi, and you are watching Indian Masterminds. Today, I am with Ms. Krupa Jain to know her strategy on mains and learn about the art of notes making and preparing each subject with equal importance. Hi, Krupa. Thank you so much for joining Indian Masterminds. I'm really
Having
grateful. Yeah. So, since you are aware, the mains for 2024 is very near. So, since you have already cleared the exam thrice, including one Indian Forest Services officer, Indian Service Foreign Services. So, I wanted to talk to you about how to prepare mains and if you can guide all the aspirants who are actually looking forward to give that exam. So, first of all, I wanted to ask you on a lighter note, which is the stage which you fear the most? Is it prelims, is it mains, or it is interview? Because most of the toppers of last year also or 1 year before that, they mostly struggled in prelims. And when I talked to them, quite a few, they all said कि we were thinking कि अगर एक बार if we are managed to clear prelims, we knew कि we'll made it into the list. So what that stage is for you? Like, is it prelims or mains?
Honestly speaking, again, the same thing, it would be prelims.
Okay.
First prelims I couldn't clear,
Mhm.
and so I know how it is, and this prelims as well I did not clear.
Okay.
So I just needed that push for prelims, wherein I know that after that I have things ready, so it will work out. Initially, in the initial attempts, first attempt I was a little fearful about interview as well,
Okay.
but in any case, it would be prelims only,
Prelims.
wherein you just don't know what is going to happen.
Right. And so, what is your strategy? Is it to prepare mains and prelims together or separately? Like many focuses on prelims first and then, which is, I guess, wrong strategy. But I wanted to know yours. What is your strategy, and what you advise to others?
Uh, Honestly speaking, I've done both the ways
Hmm.
because in my first attempt, I did the same that I did only prelims
Hmm.
and I was not at all prepared for mains.
Hmm.
And before the prelims result came in, I thought I would almost clear it by, I just lost it by 1 mark or 2 marks there. So
Hmm.
I thought I would clear it, but I was fearful because I did not have any notes. I did not have any clue. So it
Hmm.
was a very wrong decision.
Hmm.
I would suggest, as you mentioned, that doing both prelims and mains together.
Hmm.
And here you can strategize well, depending on how much time you have. If
Hmm.
you have more than a year, 1.5 year, just make sure that initially you read the prelims textbooks
Hmm.
because from graduation, when we jump into UPSC or from job, we don't have a lot of idea as in how things are in UPSC. So
Right.
initially, when you do prelims, you
Hmm.
get a good head start to
Hmm.
understand mains further. So
Hmm.
prelims also as part of exam is before mains for a reason.
Right.
So you get a holistic idea on what exactly you have to study. So
Hmm.
what I did in my case was the subjects that overlapped in both prelims as well as mains,
Hmm.
especially history,
Hmm.
geography. Then you have economy. So these
Right.
parts have an overlapping thing both in your prelims and mains. I
Right.
did these subjects first.
Hmm.
Once I studied prelims for them, I tried writing answers for mains for these particular parts of prelims that I had studied.
Okay.
Once I got a knack of how mains is working,
Hmm.
after I finished my prelim syllabus to an extent, I
Mhm.
started with mains, particularly syllabus, which is just specific for mains. So
Right.
this gave me a good head start, wherein I just finished a part of prelims as well, and I'm doing my mains as well. So that gave me a little confidence.
Okay, and since there are too many subjects which you have to write for mains, so how do you prepare? Do you have separate strategy for each subject, including optional and essay, or you move towards it with a similar strategy for all the subjects, including all the GS, and optional and essay?
I think every subject has a very different strategy.
Hmm.
But when I began to, but if anybody's starting to prepare on this or just doing, I believe that first you have to go through each subject, each topic of the subject of mains, go through everything, make notes of everything. Once you start writing answers of them, for instance, I've studied a particular topic on internal security today, and I've made a one pager, two pager notes on that. And I've written answers the same day, try writing answers the same day. So once I do this for entire subject of mains, now I know what are my strengths and what are my weaknesses. For
Hmm.
instance, GS3, I know that my answers there lack a lot of times. I'm not able to do it up to the mark. Now I'll change or shift my balance towards giving more time towards GS3. So every subject depends on your ability on how well you take it. History,
Hmm.
somebody is not able to write well there because they're not able to because it's more about memory and how you structure your
Memory.
answer. Yeah. So there it is upon the individual how they balance it. Initially keep a balance,
Hmm.
understand where you have to focus, and then shift the balance accordingly and what time of stage of preparation you are in.
And also, what is your strength? There are some subjects in which you find yourself, a way ahead, and then there are subjects with which you struggle. So I guess, yeah, that also works. Also, now coming to optional, what is your optional? I couldn't get it anywhere. What was your optional?
My option is sociology.
Okay, so what was your strategy in preparing for optional? Because it has a lot of weight. You have two papers focusing on that, and the marks can, get your selection and also determine your rank. So, what was your, and it's a quite common optional, I guess, amongst the aspirants nowadays. So, what was your strategy, and also which books did you follow?
So for sociology as an optional, in my case, I think I'm the best example to understand how something can pull you or bring you down. I had scored in my second attempt when I got into IRMS. I had scored 298 in my optional sociology,
Mhm.
which is a good score. And last attempt when I got rank about 440, I scored 234 in my optional, which was a great fall. Basically, it got me down from
Mhm.
whatever I could better service I could get.
Mhm.
So yeah, it can make or break your service or your selection. My strategy here was in particular initially because I am from engineering background, so I had a tough time understanding what is happening with the books. I started with a book, but couldn't understand. So I went through video lectures of Vikas Ranjan sir, which is available online on Telegram. So I just went through them on a fast forward pace. Then I got uh, notes of Vikas Ranjan sir's class itself. So
Okay.
they were printed notes.
Mhm.
Those notes I took up. My class notes I took up. And then there are a few standard books that everybody refers to, which is Harlombus, Blue Harlombus, which is again, I have not done the whole book entirely. A
Mhm.
few sections of it wherein I found my notes are deficit. Those parts of it I've done. And then there's a Ritzer book, orange color book as well. So
Mhm.
those two, three books plus IGNU. IGNU is somewhere I feel people do ignore this part, but
Mhm.
those questions in sociology, which we find that it is out of syllabus, are mostly coming from IGNU material. It is either BA or MA. So if you search any question, last year we had a new kind of question. If you go and search it on internet, the first link that would come up would be IGNU's material. So which we miss upon. Yeah,
So you
that
are
also I
suggesting anybody who has chosen sociology should also look over IGNU materials which they provide for BAMA courses, right?
yes. Whichever is in our syllabus as well.
Mhm.
So just add up, not again, refer to them, take only what is needed according to the syllabus of UPSC that is provided. Stick to the syllabus, have notes very crisp. Then combining all this, I've made a one or two pager note of each topic of my syllabus. And this would take time. First, I had a notes which was 15 pager. Then I read it again, which came up to like 6 pages. And then I read it again before mains. That I came up to 2 or 3 pages. So it's a
For each
process.
topic or for entire subject you are saying?
No. For each topic.
Okay.
So it's a process. Well,
Hmm.
it is to understand. People cannot rush up to coming to a 2 pager note immediately for optional specifically, because optional requires understanding, which builds over time.
Right.
So with time, you get to understand what is important, what is to be kept in your notes, what is to be written in your paper. So keeping that mindset, you can go ahead.
Okay, now coming to just extending about, collecting content from various materials. I wanted to understand there are many toppers who, advises students to stick to one material. Then there are who says ki you need to make one basic book and then you can go hover around other topics or maybe use internet to, enrich your content. Specifically for mains, I think prelims is different. A main, since you need to have contents, unless you don't have it, you won't be able to write it in the paper. What will be your strategy or your suggestion for the people who are going to appear for mains, or even actually trying to write mains? So should they stick to one book for each subject, or they should, collect materials from here and there जहाँ भी मिल जाए? So what should be their strategy?
As I think you've already mentioned, that I believe in having a base book and then adding upon things, especially for mains. Again, I think when you rely on one particular source, you do not get an objective understanding, because one particular source might have mentioned the important point that it felt so to add. But when you look at two, three sources, you get the best out of it, and accordingly, you can just write another page wherein you've added all the sources and made one holistic answer or one holistic writing. So I believe taking up from various sources would be helpful. I've depended on Shunya, on Only IAS, on Only IAS Prahar is a good material. Then you have a vision material. Then you have Drishti material. Again, what happens is people go when they look at so many materials, they read it a lot in detail and waste a lot of time. Don't do that. When you've got 4 points in a particular material, for example, Shunya has given 4 points on if some topic, maybe disaster management.
Right.
If you have those 4 points, just look upon anything extra that would add value to your answer, which is something nice. Just look at that, just scroll through that page, any new material, just see what's missing in your material and just add those 2 points which are missing. Don't keep on reading the whole thing which is not adding value and wasting your time. So trying to manage that well is also an act that is to be developed.
Right. And since you have been a veteran when it comes to writing mains and getting selected, so like how much weightage does current affairs section have in mains, and how one can incorporate current affairs into their mains writing answers, or maybe in essays or any answers? So how would they do?
I think the best source for current affairs would be newspapers.
Yeah.
But that does not mean you give 3 to 4 hours to newspaper, especially during mains. There's one common trend if you observe. The best part about mains is look at TYQs. When you look at TYQs, you see a trend. The question setters likes asking the disasters that occurred either in 1 year or 1.5 year timeline. So make sure you go through the trend that the PYQs are setting. Depending on that, when you read your newspaper, align your thoughts on how UPSC is thinking. So you go through newspaper, you don't look at any issue that is happening nearby, that is happening in your state, which is not which where UPSC is not interested, because our current focus is to clear exam.
Right.
To be very practical. So look at those topics which interests UPSC. Now, if you see there are Kerala floods happening, you see so much about deep fakes and AI. There is a high possibility that these questions are going to come in GS3 or GS1, the disasters part. So this is how you manage your current affairs. Just take half an hour out of your main schedule. Go through the newspaper, just glance through it. Just have it in your mind that this particular topic is happening. Write it down somewhere. Now, particularly if I take the example of disasters, go on go separately on the internet on a particular disaster, maybe flood or cloudburst, and
Mhm.
search about it, read about it, make a small one-pager note about it. That's it. That's what is going to matter in mains, especially. So if you
Okay.
do this, this is a very short and sweet trick of how you can do for mains. And this is majorly current affairs that are happening.
Hmm.
And the other part is mains 365, which I think almost everybody follows because it gives you the holistic picture of any particular current affairs that is happening. So both of these are my strategies for current affairs.
Okay. Current affairs in mains, like how you can use
Yes,
it.
mains.
For prelims, I think current affairs has more weightage in in prelims if compared to mains. Am I
Yeah.
right?
I think both does have, but yeah, prelims has a lot more because it's direct question to be answered.
Okay. Okay, I asked this to matlab, previous in my previous interview also with Rupali only. I guess you know
Okay.
her. So according to you, which is that paper in all those DS 1, 2, 3, 4 and optionals and essay, which that can get you good score, but aspirants, generally take that for granted and not prepare it seriously, and then it backfires.
That's a good question to be posed. I think that would be essay
Okay.
because people don't prepare a lot on it or don't think about it a lot. And but it has equal number of marks as your GS 1, 2, 3, 4, which is 250. So I think it has to be given weightage because it is making or breaking people as well. That as we saw in our recent last examination, people
Hmm.
scored low.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think essay is also a make or break, which people don't focus on.
Hmm. Okay. And since there is only 2 to 3 months gap between prelims and mains, now the only 1 month gap who will be appearing.
Right.
So what should be the approach of selected candidates who have, cleared prelims in those 2 months, which that can help them, to prepare better क्योंकि वो तो एक साल से कर ही रहे हैं. Now this 2 3 months can actually help. So what should be their approach in that time, and especially in the coming 1 month or maybe 15 days?
Um, if it has to be about the period between prelims and mains,
Hmm.
I would say making sure you revise enough
Hmm.
and just keep in touch with the current affairs and the mains 365 that you're reading.
Right.
In my case, I have a very planned schedule of what I'll be doing. If a person can do that, I think that will bring much clarity and will not cause chaos in your studying.
Hmm.
For instance, now what I've planned is maybe we have 1.5 month left
Hmm.
right now, if it's on 20th.
Hmm.
So just make sure that you finish your optional by 1.5 month, maybe by August 15th. If you consider you started studying from July, so
Right.
finish your optional at least by 1.5 month because
Hmm.
I keep my optional focused initially,
Hmm.
and GS somehow I try and finish one reading of it.
Hmm.
Once you finish your optional maybe by August 14th or 15th with papers, you can start with your GS papers with other 15 days remaining.
Hmm.
Make sure you write at least 4 papers. Now
Hmm.
this you can do by having 4 or 5 days per GS,
Hmm.
and you study for 4 or 5 days. For instance, if I have to give micro example,
Hmm.
I've taken CS1 as an example. I
Hmm.
will study ancient history and medieval and post-independence on one particular day. Make sure you write daily answers on that particular day for the topic that you have read. Give 1 hour for it, but believe me, that is going to do wonders for you. Just make sure you write daily answers.
Hmm.
And these questions need to be the previous year questions as well, only which you have to write. Once
Right.
you finish your topic and your answers for that particular day, similar thing if you do for 5 days, completing your GS paper, GS1 syllabus. Fifth day, just make sure you write a full length test. So you've holistically covered your PYQs, your studying of the subject, that is revision,
Right.
and your full length paper. So if
Right.
you do this as well, from now you can finish your whole syllabus once. Your optional, your
Hmm.
GS, and your essay as well. So this is how you can channelize on how you can study a complete syllabus now.
Okay, now coming to the D day when you have to write the exam. You have limited time in the examination hall, and it's very lengthy. I see. और उस दिन you might दो sitting होता है ना शायद, I guess in
Huh.
mains. Yeah,
Yes.
so you have to write twice or the and. So how do you prepare yourself that you don't miss any question, you finish your paper without getting panicked?
A very good question again for me particularly, because the mocks that I give, I used to take 4 hours to write. Maybe for 1.5 months, I used to a 3 hour paper I used to write in 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, on the D day, completing it in time was a task. However, I think with preparation, with the number of revisions and how much more you'll remember, you'll be able to reproduce faster.
Right.
However, if you have to really focus on timing on D day that you're talking,
Mm-hmm.
just make sure stick to 7 minutes for a 10 marker and 11 minutes for a 15 marker.
Okay.
Just be with the time. Keep your clock straight in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
If 7 minutes are done, just leave the question, because just in the greed of finishing this question better, you will miss on a question, a 10 marker fully.
Right.
Rather than doing that, focus on finishing all the questions equally, because
Mm-hmm.
that will give you more above average marks, because other people won't be able to do that. So
Right.
please focus on 7 minutes for 10 markers, 11 minutes for 15 markers. This strategy, and consciously just keep, you have to be with the time. You can't just keep writing and suddenly see that I'm 15 minutes over time and now what I'll be doing.
Mm-hmm.
So have that strategy clear, and this needs to be practiced enough before you go to the exam hall.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Simulate your D-day before itself so that
Right.
you don't panic on that day.
And in the second paper, which you have to write on the same day, the fatigue can kick in. So how does one work on that? First paper you are fresh, you will write better, maybe you'll perform better. But in the second, we have experienced that this in our school examination also, no? So in that time, so they used to, give drawing or computer or something lighter
Yes.
subject on the second sitting. But here you don't have any lighter subject. So how does one, make sure that they give their 100% in the second sitting also?
I think in that break, you really don't have time thinking that if you're tired or not, because you've given one whole year for this, and
Right.
many people have given many years. So I don't think you get that. But though you have that body ache and all, I've seen everybody rubbing their hands with either balms, Chattumam, and
Right.
taking tablets. Do whatever it is. I think that period, everybody's only thinking about giving exam rather than how tired they are. I
Hmm.
remember my hand going blue. I was in Delhi and it was winters also, and
Hmm.
my hand going blue, and I was not able, ethics paper especially, because it was too lengthy last year.
Hmm.
So all this is again, at that point you don't remember, and once you're done you just feel that, oh, what happened, what am I doing?
Yeah,
So
but
it
it's
doesn't.
about, you are talking about like physically if you are tired. I'm talking about, if you don't, so that you don't get, mentally tired. It's not like your
Okay.
thoughts are not coming. So you have exhausted yourself in your first sitting paper only. So uske liye I am asking.
Uske liye, I think everybody has a different thing. People say that you need to have a good sleep, because I think before exam you should have some 8 to 9 hours sleep that will keep you calm.
Mm-hmm.
It depends from person to person. I sleep lesser before exam, but that has worked. That is how I have been doing from my childhood. I sleep like 2 to 3 hours, but it depends from person to person. I won't be able to comment upon this. But
Okay.
again, meditation on the day of exam in the morning, yes. It again depends from person. I do that
Okay.
because
Yeah.
that keeps me calm.
Yeah, there are people like me. I am able to, get up early, like 3, 4 during my board examination,
Exactly.
and then go to examination hall straight away. Because if I didn't wake up at around that time and revise myself, I used to feel कि वो सोने में सारा रह जाएगा. So
सेम सेम, मुझे भी पूरा अगर मैं रिवाइज ना कर लूं, आई हैव दैट फीलिंग कि बस
yeah,
मुझे कुछ नहीं.
I could sleep early, but I needed
हाँ.
to,
To
wake up
sleep, yes, same,
in the morning.
same.
But then there are people who would like to,
Take a good nap.
no,
हाँ.
not only take a good nap, they could drag their timing in the night. Like they will sit
हाँ.
or study around 2 to 3 and then wake up during the around their
Exam.
school time in examination time. But मुझे लगेगा सारा मेरा सोने में चला गया.
I
So
am your type. I am your type. I would sleep a little early, then wake up by 1 or 2, and then continue studying.
okay. So in the last, do you have any tricks or tips which actually helps you during the exam. I'm talking about mains only, which you can share with anybody. Like Rupali told me ki she na, when she gets the paper, she starts moving her hands in a pace ki she's writing, but she's not actually writing. She's just वो inertia की हाथ को लगे कि हम इसको लिखना है. So that was one trick she shared with me. So do you have any? Or you just go straight up, you have your questions and you just wait for the time when you are allowed to write and you just start writing?
One of the tricks that a senior shared to me, which I use, is so when we just go, especially for the first paper, our
Right.
mind is not working so fast.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately as you get your paper, you have to think and start writing. So to avoid that inertia, what I do is before getting into the examination hall, I look upon 3 to 4 questions like half an hour prior, and I try and brainstorm on those questions and what I'll be writing. I try to make my brain work so that I break that inertia in the examination hall. So half an hour prior, I see a few questions, 2 3 questions. I brainstorm upon those. Okay, इसमें क्या लिखना है, ये point ऐसे ऐसे. तो मेरा दिमाग चलने लग जाता है.
Okay.
तो एग्जाम में वो मेरा टाइम जो वो स्टार्टिंग में एकदम मेरे कुछ फ्लैश नहीं हो रहा है, सिर्फ पढ़ा हुआ है, वो नहीं होता.
नहीं होता.
So that is one of the tricks that I do. And something more that I can tell is I use the strategy of writing. I don't write from 1 to 20. I write from 1. I write 1 to 5, which are 10 markers, and then 11 to 20, which are 15 markers, and then come back to 6 to 10, which are again 10 markers. Basic idea why I do this is because in the end, if I have lesser time left, I don't want to miss a 15 marker. If I write 6 to 10 questions which are 10 markers, I might miss on a 10 marker and not lose more marks.
Okay.
So marks के लिए मैं थोड़ा ये एक strategy use करती
हूँ. Okay. So now in the last, would you like to share any message from to all the aspirants who will be appearing in mains, or maybe wishing them luck, whatever is in your mind, if you can share?
I would wish all of them a very good luck and would only say that जो भी preparation की है, जितनी भी की है till the day of the examination, trust yourself, believe yourself. On the day of the examination, बिल्कुल ये thought मत लाना कि I have not studied such a part या मैंने ये miss किया है, because that will bring anxiety और वो शायद paper में आए भी ना.
Right.
आएगा तो भी you will manage. Just trust yourself. तुमने इतनी मेहनत की है, you are there till there. आपको उस दिन अगर कॉन्फिडेंस आपने मेंटेन किया है, you will for sure do well, because there are a lot of people who will get anxious, who will not finish their paper. So don't keep this in mind कि मैंने पढ़ाई कम की है, वो तो selected है, उसका ज्यादा हो जाएगा. No, everybody is on the same place, same pace. You will do much better if you are calmer and you're able to think better. So stay calm on the examination day.
Okay, so on that note, thank you so much, Krupa. It was really nice talking to you. I know your tips and tricks will help all those who are going to appear in the exam. Thank you so much once again for joining us.
Thank you so much, Pallavi. Thank you so much for calling me.
So this was Miss Krupa Jain. We hope you enjoyed our conversation. To watch more such interesting conversation on UPSC and UPSC preparation, please like and subscribe our channel. And do not forget to click the bell icon to get instant alerts. Till then, this is Pallavi signing off. Stay tuned, stay informed, and stay curious. Thank you for watching Indian Masterminds.